Hello, I'm Alex Bell. I'm the creator of this page. I am the face behind the voice of Simply Painting, or the version of Simply Painting that I put out. I wanted to try something different today because this year has a little bit of significance to it. Well, a lot of years do in the grand scheme of things. Sorry. I teach history. I have a deep love of history, and I've been doing that for eight school years. This being my eighth. About 12 years ago, I took this one class at Towson University that required us to do a very large research paper. And we had to choose our own topic. It had to be in the 20th century, and I chose the Battle of Stalingrad. For those that are in the know, not today, but this year is the 80th anniversary of the end of the Battle of Stalingrad. Those that don't know, the Battle of Stalingrad was this months-long siege of the city of Stalingrad. The Nazi forces attacked it, I believe, in September of 1942. I don't know the specific date, or they had at least made it to Stalingrad. It's been a while since I've looked at that specifically. Anywho, but it was a months-long siege that went from the Germans occupying 90% of the city to the Germans get surrounded by Stalin's forces to the 90% of the city that the Germans control is slowly being whittled away by the superior Soviet forces. In the end, the Nazis surrender in the early weeks of 1943. Now, during my research, there were all kinds of books that I looked at and documents that I looked at. At one point, I checked out maybe a dozen books from the Towson University Library. There was the Anthony Beevor Stalingrad book. There were books on, like, there was an Army book, there was a Luftwaffe book, and there were all kinds of documents that I used as well. But the one that had the biggest impact on me was this one right here, Last Letters from Stalingrad. And I read it all. It's very short, and I had to hunt it down. I had to own it myself. So I scoured the internet. I found a copy on eBay, and I got it. This is translated by Franz Snyder and Charles Goulens. Introduction by S.L.A. Marshall, Brigadier General, USAR, retired. Illustrations by Szegedy Zutz. Really sorry if I butchered that name. I probably did. And this was published by the William Morrow and Company, New York, 1962. And in it there are 39 letters. And these were some of the letters that were being sent from Stalingrad that made it out at the very end of the siege. These were the last letters that left Stalingrad. And Hitler got them and said, do not distribute these. This is going to destroy any morale that we have, any positive morale that we have for the war effort. Don't let them out. And so they were just filed away, sent away, and then much later, these letters were found, they were translated, and they were put into book form. But these were, it goes through and shows what's going on in the siege. There are some letters about, like, there's some battles that are going on. There's some where it's like people broke down parts of Jeeps in order to create makeshift heaters to keep them warm because Russia has incredibly cold winters. Stalingrad in 42 to 43 had bitter cold temperatures. And there were all kinds of all kinds of records of it, of course. And these 39 letters really show what was going on with a lot of the Germans. And I wanted to share one of these letters because when I saw it, it really touched me. It's um, it's something that it makes us go, "Oh my God, that's that's horrible." And of course, should go without saying, the Nazis were like this horrible party in history, that Hitler was a monster and what he did was horrific, and the untold suffering that he did to people was absolutely terrible. Um, but we see these glimpses of humanity from those who fought for Hitler, whether they did it willingly or not. As the Battle of Stalingrad went on, any desire to continue fighting for Hitler quickly went away for so many soldiers. And there were so many that in their letters were saying, "This was a mistake. This is a terrible thing. I can't believe I did this." And one of them, the one that I'm going to share, really touched me. And I just wanted to share it because this is not an easy book to find, or at least last time I found it, it was not that easy to find. I just wanted to share it. I wanted to write you a long letter, but my thoughts constantly disintegrate like houses which collapse under shell fire. I still have 10 hours, then this letter has to be turned in. 10 hours is a long time for people who are waiting, but short for those in love. I'm not nervous at all. Actually, it is here in the East that I have for the first time become really healthy. I don't have colds and sniffles anymore. That is the only good the war has done me. It gave me something else, the realization that I love you. It is strange that people value things only when they are about to lose them. The vast distance is spanned by the bridge from heart to heart. By that bridge, I wrote you about our daily round and the world in which we live here. I meant to tell you the truth when I returned, and then we would never have talked about the war again. Now you will learn the truth beforehand, the last truth. Now I can write no more. As long as there are shores, there will always be bridges. We should have the courage to walk on them. One bridge leads to you, the other to eternity. At the very end, they are the same for me. Tomorrow, I shall set foot on the last bridge. That is the literary way of saying death. But as you know, I always like to express things figuratively, because I took pleasure in words and sounds. Give me your hand, so that crossing it won't be so hard. And as I said, there were several letters, not just the 39 included in this book, but several more letters that showcase the brokenness of these soldiers, that at this point there were so few that were left in Stalingrad who clung to the Nazi ideals, that it's like what we're doing is for the common good and what we're doing is for the fatherland. That so many were like, nope, we were fools. We've done horrible things. We've made terrible choices. And so many wanted to just surrender. And many did surrender, but many would not be returned to Germany. Many of them would perish in prison camps in the Soviet Union before they would be allowed to return back to Germany. Yeah. But that's Last Letters from Stalingrad. Very short book. Really shows what was left in so many people during the war. And this was the midway point of the war, that so many had come to realize in horrible conditions, it's like, I have made a mistake. That they found that it was not worth it. And it's like, no, this is not worth it. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing other videos regarding other primary sources or history text or anything else for that matter. I'm probably going to be sticking to simply painting, but I really wanted to show that because it's, like I said, this is the 80th anniversary of the end of the Battle of Stalingrad, a massive turning point in World War II. And while the Nazi Party and the Nazi machine was an abomination and one of the worst things in all of history, there were those who were tricked into believing in these ideas. And while it is sad that many perished, it is good that many came to realize before the end that it's like, this was not worth it. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you again soon.